I was having coffee with a friend this morning, and we were talking about how Empowered Leader is 4 years old this year. And she was asking me how it got started, like what was the genesis of it. And um, I was really struggling to remember.
I had gone on that walk on the beach and I was listening to Elton John talk about his greatest hits album. And you
Yes.
remember this? Of course, it was COVID time. And there was so much going on for people, and everybody was struggling so much. Actually, have been thinking about this a lot lately because we've been talking to so many people who have gone through it about how it's different than other things that they have done. And um, it felt very experimental in a lot of ways at the time because we have such a different approach than other people to this. It's not just the skill stuff that we're so focused on, that vertical development focus that we have, this idea that, yeah, you can build those horizontal skills, but if you don't build that vertical capacity in people, um, it's just another training program.
We don't need more training programs. We needed development. We needed to help leaders think about their thinking and think about really be able to see the behaviors on their team differently than they ever had before.
Know if you've noticed this, that we're kind of a couple years beyond our first cohort, and people who have been through it, who have sent other people, who have sent other people, and how now there's sort of generations in some of our organizations. I actually, Tara, I just tell you this. This is so great that there was a new employee and they started using some of the language that they learned in Empowered Leader, and that person had never been through it. And they asked him about it, and they were like, well, that's how that's how everybody talks around here. This is what we do. And they were like, yay, it's working. This is
Yes. And that's because it creates that common language and it becomes like it's just embedded in the culture. I had a similar conversation with somebody earlier this week, and just they need to keep building on it and making sure people have the formal training in it, but just that the language has really caught on. Well, and I remember how important it was in the design that people were able to really take the time to experiment and learn and reflect in between sessions and really create behavior change over the course of the 16 weeks of one kind of cohort.
yeah, the neuroscience focus that we have, um, and how we brought it into the design. I'll tell you, it is something that I look back on, and I'm just so grateful that we understood that and built that in, because I think that's what we've seen, isn't it, over the last
Yeah.
couple of years? Just how that incremental approach, not trying to cram everything in all at once, expecting people to change their behaviors just because they've heard us talk about something, but give them time and opportunity and ways to run all those experiments that we're asking them to run all of the time, and
Mhm.
play around with the concepts, and change in real time, change
And
their
take ownership for going back and trying those things
yeah,
out
yeah.
and learning, and everyone kind of being able to learn from everyone else's stories about what worked and what didn't work and what they're taking away from it. It's really powerful.
It still feels kind of magical to me, really.
Yes.
Um, it feels magical when we're doing it and you see the lights come on with people. This seasoned leader, somebody who's at the top of her organization with decades of leadership experience, who's going "Phew," constantly. That's magic to me. And hearing the stories of how people are changing, teams are changing, companies are changing because people are making these changes, it feels like um, getting into the thinking patterns of people and really shifting the way people are seeing and understanding their worlds, really.
Yes. And
Oh,
it's really fun to see, like, it seems to transcend industries, just the very different people in very different roles and very different types of work coming together and sharing experiences, I think is part of the magic of it too.
I am so grateful that after all these years and all these hours and hours of designing and delivering and thinking and redesigning and all the things that we have done,
Yes.
it still feels so magical and so fun.
Yes.
It
I love
truly is
yeah,
amazing.
I love that this is what we get to do.
I know.